When I bought my new home, a quiet property tucked at the far end of a peaceful suburban neighborhood, I thought I'd purchased tranquility. I had all the modern security gadgets, a smart lock on the front door, solar-powered cameras, motion detectors, the works. My place was supposed to be a fortress of both convenience and safety, but none of that could have prepared me for her, Karen, the HOA president. She made her grand entrance the day after I moved in, blonde hair pulled into a severe bun, a floral blouse, and a clipboard held to her chest like it was the Constitution. While I was installing the Ring doorbell, she marched straight up my porch steps like she owned the place and announced, "We take neighborhood standards very seriously around here." There was no warmth in her tone. No welcome, just pure judgment wrapped up in that tight smile that didn't reach her eyes. Trying to stay civil, I nodded. "I've read the bylaws. Don't worry, I'm not painting my house neon green." She didn't laugh. She didn't even crack a smile. Just scribbled something on her clipboard, turned around, and walked away. For weeks, it was just subtle hostility, cold stares when I drove by, passive-aggressive remarks that hung in the air, flyers left on my porch reminding me to maintain lawn standards, even though my lawn was perfectly trimmed. I let it roll off my back. Until one ordinary Wednesday afternoon, everything changed. A motion alert pinged my phone. Someone was at my front door. I opened the live camera feed. My heart skipped a beat. It was Karen. I watched in disbelief as she tried the door handle. Then, she reached into that oversized purse she always carried. I couldn't see exactly what it was, but within seconds, my smart lock clicked open. And just like that, she walked into my house. No knock, no permission. My stomach dropped. I was 10 minutes away in traffic. My hands shook as I dialed 911. "Someone just broke into my house," I told the dispatcher. "I have it on live video. She's inside right now. Do you know them?" they asked. "Yes," I said. "She's the HOA president, but she has no right to be in there." 2 patrol cars were dispatched immediately. I drove like my life depended on it, heart hammering in my chest, not just because of the fear of losing property, but because it felt like my personal space had been violated most intimately. By the time I pulled up to my street, 2 squad cars were already in front of my house. Karen stood on the porch, arms crossed like she was the one in charge, arguing with the officers. "This is my job," she barked. "I have every right to inspect the property if I suspect a violation." One of the officers turned to me. "Is that true?" I shook my head hard and pulled up the footage on my phone. She bypassed my lock. "No permission." "That's illegal entry." The moment they saw the video, their tone changed. "Ma'am," one officer said firmly, "we're going to need you to come with us." Karen's confident facade cracked. "This is a mistake. I was protecting the neighborhood." But the cuffs clicked and reality set in. She was led away in the back of a cruiser, still sputtering about rules and regulations. When the police left, I stepped into my living room, my legs barely steady. She had been inside for nearly 3 minutes. Not long enough to steal anything, but long enough to trample over my boundaries. I replayed the footage. She'd used some kind of tool to override my smart lock. That wasn't curiosity. That was planning. That night, I sent the footage to the entire HOA board, not expecting much. But the next morning, my inbox was overflowing. Neighbors were apologizing. Some were furious. Apparently, Karen had a reputation for pushing limits, but no one had ever caught her in the act before. Then came the official HOA statement. "The HOA does not condone the actions of our president. This matter is under internal review." Translation? They were in full panic mode. 2 days later, Karen was out on bail. Instead of keeping her head down, she went on the attack. She posted a rant on the neighborhood Facebook group, calling me a paranoid tech bro, ruining community spirit with surveillance and lawsuits. She claimed she'd been investigating a possible Airbnb violation. I don't even rent my place out. The comments section blew up. Some people defended her, calling me overdramatic. Others sided with me, tired of Karen's self-appointed power trip. But what finally pushed me over the edge wasn't the Facebook drama. It was the letter I found on my porch that night, hand-delivered. No return address. It was from her personal legal advisor, accusing me of defamation and threatening to countersue if I didn't drop the charges. That was it. I called my lawyer, a real one. "She trespassed," he said. You've got video proof. If she tampered with your lock, that could fall under criminal mischief or even attempted burglary in some states. My eyes widened. I hadn't even thought of that. Can we sue her directly? He didn't hesitate. Absolutely. Civil suit. Illegal entry, emotional distress, property tampering. She crossed a line. We filed that week. Karen was served right on her front lawn. I stood across the street, watching as the process server handed her the envelope. She looked up, saw me, and practically growled. I smiled and waved. That night, she went back online. Her new rant was even more unhinged, painting herself as the victim of some personal vendetta. She claimed I was attacking her for being a strong woman and that the real enemy was people like M.E. hiding behind tech and lawyers. But this time, the court date was set. She wasn't talking her way out of this one. The courtroom buzzed with low whispers as I stepped inside. Karen was already seated, dressed like she was on her way to Sunday church, a pastel blouse, pearl earrings, hair in that same tight bun. She had the same air of superiority as always, like this was all beneath her. She wouldn't even look at me. Instead, she leaned in close to her lawyer, whispering in furious bursts. The man looked more irritated than confident. My attorney, Mr. Patel, leaned toward me. She's already filed a motion to dismiss. Typical stalling tactic. It won't work, I nodded, my heart pounding. This was it. The judge entered, a stern woman with sharp glasses, no-nonsense posture, and the kind of presence that silences a room. Let's proceed, she said, voice clipped and clear. Karen's lawyer stood first. Your Honor, my client acted in good faith. She believed there was a violation of HOA policy and was simply attempting to confirm whether the property was being used as a short-term rental. This was a misunderstanding, not criminal behavior. Mr. Patel stood slowly, calm and measured. We have video evidence of my client's smart lock being tampered with using an unauthorized tool. The defendant entered without permission, without knocking, without a warrant. That is not a misunderstanding. That is trespassing. Karen's lawyer opened his mouth to object, but the judge held up a hand. I've seen the footage, Miss Karen. Would you care to explain why you felt authorized to enter a private residence? Karen stood, hands clasped dramatically in front of her chest. I wasn't breaking in, she said, voice pitched with false sincerity. I was enforcing community standards. There were complaints about strange visitors at his house. I had to make sure it wasn't being used as a hotel. The judge arched an eyebrow. You do understand that, even as HOA president, you have no legal right to enter someone's home without consent? Karen blinked rapidly, lips twitching. I thought... You thought wrongly. The judge cut in sharply. My pulse pounded in my ears. Finally, someone was holding her accountable. We went through the evidence point by point. Time stamps, smart lock logs. Video angles showing her face are crystal clear. The courtroom fell quiet except for the sound of Karen's shallow, heavy breathing. And then came the moment that sealed it. My lawyer played a clip of Karen's Facebook rant, the one where she called me paranoid and accused me of breaking the law. The judge sighed and shook her head slowly. So, after illegally entering this man's home, you then publicly accused him of criminal activity online. You're not just reckless, Miss Karen. You're a liability. Her lawyer slumped slightly, shoulders sinking. Karen's face went stiff, like she was about to implode. The judge delivered the ruling faster than I expected. Karen would be held civilly liable for damages, and the criminal case would proceed separately. Outside the courtroom, a small group of neighbors had gathered. I spotted Mr. Green from 3 houses down. He gave me a thumbs up. Finally, someone stood up to her, he said. Karen brushed past me on her way out, eyes burning with quiet rage. This isn't over, she hissed. I smiled. For you? It just might be. A week after the court ruling, the neighborhood felt different, quieter. Karen had gone radio silent. No late-night posts on the neighborhood Facebook group. No morning clipboard patrols. No passive-aggressive flyers tucked under doors. It was as if someone had hit the mute button on her entire existence. Then came the real news. I was sipping coffee on my porch when Mr. Green walked over, waving the rolled-up neighborhood newsletter like it was the juiciest gossip in town. You seen this yet? He asked. I took the paper. The headline practically leaped off the page. HOA president steps down amid legal drama. The article was polite, diplomatic even, talking about preserving the dignity of the HOA and focusing on healing. But we all knew what it really meant. Karen had been forced out. Not gracefully, not voluntarily, quietly and firmly. Apparently, after my case, 2 more residents came forward. Small incidents, minor break-ins, inspections no one had authorized. A woman even claimed Karen threatened to fine her over a too loud wind chime. Karen hadn't been protecting the neighborhood. She'd been ruling it through fear, but her fall didn't end there. I later found out she tried appealing the civil case. The judge rejected it outright. The criminal case was still pending, but according to Mr. Patel, it wasn't looking good for her. The evidence was rock solid. Still, I wasn't after revenge. I just wanted closure. I agreed to drop the remaining charges on one condition. She had to apologize publicly. Not just to me, but to everyone. 2 Saturdays later, at an emergency HOA town hall meeting, Karen walked in. Her voice was unsteady, her shoulders slumped in a way I'd never seen before. I let my position go to my head, she began, reading shakily from a piece of paper. I thought I was protecting the community, but I crossed boundaries. And I apologize, the room was quiet. A few people clapped. Most just nodded, relief etched across their faces. When it ended, she didn't make eye contact with anyone. She walked straight to her car and drove off. The next morning, a moving truck appeared in front of her house. She was gone. The rumors started flying immediately. Some said she was moving to Florida to live with her sister. Others claimed she'd had a breakdown. I didn't care. What mattered was this: the neighborhood finally felt like home. Weeks passed. My lawn stayed perfectly trimmed. My cameras only picked up the occasional raccoon. Neighbors who used to keep their heads down now waved when they passed by. Some even thanked me for standing up to her. And every single time I locked my front door with a single tap on my phone, I smiled. Because now, it would stay locked. No more intrusions. No more power trips. No more Karen. Just peace. If you've ever dealt with a nosy neighbor or an out-of-control HOA like Karen, then you know the pain. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more insane real-life stories like this. And hey, drop a like if you think Karen got exactly what she deserved. And if you've had something like this happen in your neighborhood, tell me about it in the comments.